She was a good cricket player. Played for the Women's Big Bash League for the Brisbane Heat franchisee. But her dreams lay in tennis. She broke a 44-year jinx. She was the world number one for over 100 weeks. Life was good, right? But no. In one of the most shocking decisions taken in 2022, I may say, Ashleigh Barty announced her sudden retirement from the sport. Traditionally, if you were to look at it, it's not that shocking. Why? Because there are some very famous personalities who had quit when they were at the peak of their powers. Not just tennis, but in this video, you will see F1, a boxing legend, and a football legend to boot. I am Siddharth Vishwanathan, and I will guide you through this listicle with Shane Dyers.
Hello. Before Muhammad Ali, before Mike Tyson, before even Floyd Money Mayweather, there was this man, Rock Marciano, the man whom many considered the finest heavyweight boxer of all time, if not the greatest ever. He retired not only with a 49-0 professional record, he also retired as the world heavyweight champion, and he retired at only 32 years old. The main reason for his decision? He wanted to spend more time with his family, and his decision at the time was unheard of. An athlete in the peak of his powers, just calling it a day.
Iceborg, or Björn Borg, the best thing to have come out of Sweden after ABBA. Björn Borg, before he even turned 25, had laid down the gold standard for tennis. 6 French Open, 5 Wimbledons. He would have been a sensation. But when he lost the 1981 final to John McEnroe in Wimbledon, at the age of 26, he just quit. It was sudden, shocking, and even today, he still can't make sense of it.
Having spent years toiling in the midfield of Formula One, Nico Rosberg, a second-generation F1 driver, realized his boyhood dream in 2016 when he finally won the World Drivers' Championship. Almost shockingly, just 3 days later, he announced his retirement from the sport, citing mental burnout and a desire to spend more time with his family. He has been involved in the world of motorsports since, and is even an occasional commentator for Formula One, where he has never ever returned from the sport.
This female was the undisputed queen of clay in the first decade of the 21st century, blessed with a single-handed backhand that was a sight for the gods. Justiana was at the peak of her powers. 4 French Opens, overall 7 titles. At the age of 26, she was the world number one. She could have done the career Grand Slam. She could have done so much more, having already won 2004 Athens gold. But she dropped the bombshell. At the age of 26, she announced her retirement, still at the peak of her powers. She did come back afterwards for a very brief year, but she was never the same again. It was tennis's great loss that Anna Arden, or Justine Anna, which she explicitly said never use Arden, she said that was a big loss for the game.
The King of Manchester, one of the greatest players that France has ever produced, and he walked away from the sport when he was at the peak of his powers. That's right, Eric Cantona, the man who dazzled the world of football for many years. He walked away from the sport at the end of the 1997 season. The reason for his retirement was that, of course, he wanted to spend more time away from the rigors of professional sport, admitting years later in an interview that being a professional footballer meant that he could not enjoy the finer things in life. And that is it for this particular list. Thank you very much for joining us, and if you think there's been any other retirements, notable ones, of athletes in the peak of their powers, drop it in the comments, do let us know. Thank you once again for joining us, and don't forget, like, share and subscribe to Sports Today.